everyone, and welcome to Fred Talks, a podcast where we talk all about the fashion industry and why it might be more important than you think, but less glamorous than it seems. I still haven't come up with a name for this video, even though I'm recording this for the fourth time, but hey ho. But essentially, we will be talking about how us as a society are giving clothes its purpose and why we're doing it wrong. The first time I came up with this idea, I would say, was actually a year ago when I was doing research for my dissertation. And I came across this TED Talk by Andrea Mason, who's a fashion, textile and merchandising and design and philosophy graduate. That's a lot of things. And she was essentially talking about how she hates people wearing pajama pants. And she was telling this story of how she was standing in a queue in a coffee shop. And there was this girl standing in front of her wearing pajama pants. And the designer in her hated it because why is she wearing pajama pants outside? And the philosopher in her was asking questions why. And then by the end of it, she came to a conclusion that essentially the pajama pants are made out of the same piece of fabric that her jumper is, let's say. And why is it that she doesn't mind wearing the jumper, but she minds the pajama pants? And her point was that us as a society decided that pajama pants belong to the world of comfort, hence why they should not be worn to the outside world, to the world of stress. And I have recently seen a TikTok where a girl was talking about how she thinks that we should make wearing pajama pants acceptable. And my initial thought was not, oh, this looks bad, but ew, it's disgusting, it's dirty. Because the whole idea of why we should make it acceptable to wear pajama pants outside is because you can just crawl out of bed, go outside, come back and crawl back in. And for me, that is just nasty, right? Because unless you're severely depressed and you just made a progress of going outside, or you're really ill and you just need to go to shop and then you go back to bed because you're half dead, that's a completely different story. But for me personally, the idea of a healthy person going outside, catching all of the germs and everything and the dirt, and then coming back and lay in bed in the same clothes and sleep in it, it's just no. Then another thing is that, in my personal opinion, the girl in the TikTok that I saw styled the outfit with those pajama pants, and it didn't really look good. But for me, the most important bit is that it's just not hygienic, and that really got me thinking that, yes, I do agree with Andrea that we are the ones who are deciding on what is the clothes purpose, but are we actually doing it correct? I think a great way to show you or to explain it is to introduce you to a clothes that is now I think it has been gaining a new purpose for quite a while, and that is lingerie. If you live in England, you know what I mean very much. I don't know if it's anywhere else in the world. I feel like America as well. I've never traveled anywhere else, so I don't know. But pretty much in England, you can't go on a night out without seeing at least one girl, usually multiple, wearing lingerie as a top. As you probably already guessed from the tone of my voice, I don't like this trend. And now you probably think that I don't like it because it's too revealing and it's inappropriate, blah, blah, blah. No. I don't like it because I don't understand how the girls aren't cold. I'm in a queue to a club wearing a jumper and a coat and I'm freezing, and then there's a girl wearing a bra. Like, it's called underwear for a reason. It's underwear. And I genuinely cannot understand how these girls aren't cold. And for me, it's a bit dangerous from the health point of view, if that makes sense. Like, if, it's your body, you do you. Like, if you like the look and you're not freezing, then good for you. But for me personally, it's not a trend that I would like because I would freeze my ass off. Now, this topic gets us to what I believe, like, we judge the fashion based on the most, and that is appropriation. I don't know if that sentence made any sense, but I hope you get me. We judge clothes based on whether they are appropriate, whether the piece of clothes is appropriate or not. And this conversation usually revolves around culture, around religion. In my personal opinion, if you travel to a certain country that requires a certain way of dressing, I think you should respect it. If, for example, you prefer to dress in a more modest way, even if it has nothing to do with religion, if you move to a country like England, where you will see girls wearing underwear as a top, you should respect it. Even if you don't like it, you shouldn't, I don't think you should preach them about what they should wear. At the same time, if you travel to a country and that for religious reasons or for just the cultural reasons require you to dress up a bit more, you should respect that as well. And you shouldn't preach them. You definitely should not preach them because you're the guest. That is very much, that's my point. You should not preach someone if you travel to a different country, or if you travel to a different country, you should never preach, and you should respect the way of their dressing. But I also think it's much simpler than just religion. Obviously, religion and culture is the most obvious one, it's the biggest part. But for example, for me personally, one of the biggest culture shocks when I moved to England was when I noticed that people don't dress up to go to theatre. In Czech Republic, if you go to a theatre, it's an event. You have to wear dress, you have to wear black tie, you have to wear a suit. If you don't, you will be let in, I think. I used to work in the theatre, and we've never had a case of not letting anyone in because they weren't dressed, but then again, everyone is always dressed. Because if you weren't, you would be judged. You will. For us, going to a theatre is an occasion. But then again, I was asking about it to my boyfriend, and he was saying that for them, it's not a big enough event for them to dress up. And I respect that. If I went to a theatre in England, I would still dress up, but in less than usual. I wouldn't wear like a full-on evening dress, but I would still wear dress. Probably more casual dress, but still a dress, which I think is a great in-between meeting point where I respect that they don't dress up as much, but I still keep what I believe in. And the same thing if my boyfriend came to Czech Republic and we went to theatre, I would still expect him to wear a bit more, I would not let him to go there in jumper and call it a day. I would still force him to wear at least a shirt. Like, it wouldn't have to be probably a full-on suit, but at least wear a shirt. And if you think about it, is appropriation really something we should be judging the other people's clothes on? Because, as I just said, I think we should respect each other, but we shouldn't judge each other, because in the end of the day, Muslims aren't hurting you being covered, right? They're not hurting you having their face covered, even though obviously not all Muslims are covering their faces, but you get me. Just like it's not hurting me that I see a girl wearing underwear. As I said, I would be freezing if she's not good for her. And to be honest, even asking ourselves the question, oh, is this appropriate? I think that is very ambitious to think that you as a single person can decide whether what someone else is wearing is appropriate or not, because it's different for different cultures. It might be inappropriate for you, but it's appropriate for them. And unless it's something that's, as I said billion times now, as long as you or they aren't inviting your culture or your culture or the laws of your country, then who are you to judge someone else? Who are you to say that this girl is not dressed appropriately because she's wearing a short skirt? And that point gets me to I don't know if that is the most, or if the appropriation is the most talked about topic in the fashion industry. But one of them, and I think actually this one might be more spoken about, is menswear and women's wear, and whether men should wear women's clothes and whether women should wear men's clothes. Actually, the last one is not a question anymore, because to every man that is super excited when they see a girl wearing really, really short shorts, 100 years ago was not acceptable. 100 years ago, it was absolutely not acceptable for a girl to wear short shorts or to wear trousers even. Well, 100 years ago it was. But 200 years ago, girls weren't allowed to wear menswear. And it actually baffles me that if people in 1920s could accept that the fashion is changing and women are now wearing trousers and they are wearing shirts and they are dressing up in what used to be so lately for men, why can't we accept the same transition going from male's fashion into female's fashion? Like, why can't men wear a skirt? If people 100 years ago, who are much more controversial than we are, or we should be, could accept this change, why can't we? Like, what's your problem? And I know there's been a very recent, was about 2 months ago now, controversy, or I don't even know if it was that controversial, but it was something that a lot of people talked about, and that was Sam Smith on Vivienne Westwood show. For those of you who haven't seen the show, Sam Smith wore red tartan cape, knee-high red and black socks, a light green bodysuit, and the most problematic part, very, very, very short high-waisted shorts. Now, this casting decision made so many people angry. So many people got upset at this brand for choosing Sam Smith as a model, choosing someone who doesn't have the typical, stereotypical model body to wear such a revealing outfit. And many people also pointed out Sam Smith's modeling skills, that their work wasn't really the best, which I agree with. However, they also wore a very, very, very high heels on a very high platforms. I would say that the platforms were maybe like 10 to 20 centimeters tall, which I don't actually blame them for walking the way they walk. I would not make a one step without killing myself. Also, for those of you who are confused why I refer to Sam Smith as they them, is because they identify as they them, which was another big issue, that this outfit, this really revealing outfit, was put on someone who doesn't have the model body that we know, the most stereotypical one, as I said, and also isn't a female. If this outfit was on a girl, no one, and I guarantee you no one, would care about how revealing it is. I just want to point out that that is something that we as a society have such an issue with men wearing female outfits. When does it really affect you? Like, did it hurt you to see Sam Smith wearing a short short? Probably not. If it was a woman, you would love it, which is just sexism, really. If it doesn't bother you seeing a woman wearing a really short shorts, why does it bother you to see someone who has a visibly male body to wear a short shorts? If you want to see a woman wearing dress, why shouldn't a man wear dress? And I don't want to make it sound like I'm judging just men for judging other men wearing dress or wearing skirt when they love to stare at women wearing male's clothes. I also think it's really stupid of women being like, oh, but men shouldn't wear a skirt. Well, then you shouldn't wear trousers, Karen, should you? I feel like our society is twisting it. We're missing the point. It's not, oh, is it appropriate for a man to wear it? Is it appropriate for a woman to wear it? Because as Andrea said, it's still the same piece of fabric. So why does it matter? Why, if the fabric takes the shape of a skirt, it's appropriate for women only, but when it takes the shape of trousers, it's appropriate for both? It doesn't make any sense. Rather than that, we should be asking, is the clothes safe? Is it comfortable? Does it do a job in keeping you warm, or does it do a job in cooling you down? As I said before, it doesn't matter if it was Sam Smith wearing the platform high heels or if it was me. It would be dangerous for both of us. It was dangerous for them. It would be dangerous for me. It would be dangerous for my boyfriend. It would be dangerous for a child. It would be dangerous for elder person. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's still a dangerous piece of clothing. It's shoes, but you get me. You get the point. This is what we should be asking about. And I feel like us as a society, yes, we give clothes its purpose, but we're kind of twisting and we are focusing on the wrong purposes or the wrong brackets to divide the clothes in. It's just like with beauty products. It's safe to use lipstick on your cheeks, but you should be careful putting it on your eyelids. Anyway, that will be it for today's episode. I know this is probably a very short one, but I think it's a one with a very important message, if I may say so myself. Anyway, let me know what you think, and I shall see you in the next episode.